Hello and welcome to our weekly boxing chat here on Sky Sports News. I'm Andy Scott. I'm joined by two trainers, Gary Logan and a man who was involved in a very dramatic fight last weekend, Shane McGuigan. Great to see you both. Shane, let's start with you. I mean, the incident we're talking about is a victory for Daniel Dubois against Kevin Lerena, but not without incident. How do you reflect on the whole thing and what's his injury update? It was an injury to his knee.
Yeah, obviously he got dropped within the first couple of minutes and got back up, but got dropped 2 more times. But he actually took a knee in that first round and got through the next round and knocked his opponent out in 3 rounds. So it was a heart in the mouth sort of stuff for me. But yeah, his right knee went when he got dropped in that first time, and I think it's a PCL or an ACL tear. So we're getting the scan done today, and hopefully we'll have some news.
It was chaotic, wasn't it? What's going through your mind? He's down 3 times.
Yeah.
When he comes back to the corner, you could hear it on the television. He sort of said, my leg isn't right.
Yeah.
It is ironic that I think I've only seen that in 2 fights in a British boxing ring, one with David Haye against Tony Bellew and Daniel Dubois at the weekend, and you were in the corner for both. Did you sort of draw on that? It's experience, it's a different sort of experience, but...
I mean, you know, with David, it was a different situation. His leg was fully ruptured, so, you know, we were trying to get Tony Bellew to overcommit and walk onto a shot. But with Kevin Lerena, with Daniel, it's like he was able to press and put some form of weight on the leg, and yeah, he did the right thing. He got up on his bike, moved around. I was barking at him to get on his jab and just, you know, let him walk in, and managed to walk him onto a fantastic right hand and finished him with a great combination. What an uppercut! Gary,
I mean, it wasn't without its drama, but there have been question marks over Daniel in the past, notably back to the demons that he suffered in the Joe Joyce fight, where he suffered that terrible eye injury. Do you think that actually to come through that sort of fight against Kevin Lerena, where he was down, hurt and nursing a leg injury, that showed that he has matured, he has sort of conquered some of those demons?
Absolutely, it's double-fold, isn't it? You've got the Joyce scenario where he's being vilified because of that, because everybody thinks, oh, well, he could have carried on. And now he's got another scenario where the same kind of situations come upon. He's one-legged, you know, he's basically one-legged. He's followed instructions, he's asked to follow instructions. You know, he's asked by his coach to follow instructions. He's done that to the letter the next round, to the point where I'm thinking, what is actually wrong with his knee? Because his balance looked quite all right, other than him being profoundly much more on his left-hand side, wasn't it, in order to compensate. But he's jabbing, you know, he's got, you know, Daniel's been quality since the time I've ever heard of him, since the first time I ever heard of him, when he used to be on the Team GB, going up to Team GB. He's got a quality jab, he's got quality balance, you know, and now his temperament and trusting his coach and what his coach said, he was able to do that. Because we said about it earlier, the amount of times that a coach gives you great instructions and the fighter does totally the opposite of what he's done. So
yeah, he was a good student on Saturday night.
Yeah, he was a good student, and the rest is there for us to see.
My question to you, Shane, is twofold now. So it's frustrating because obviously there will be a period of rehab now, but what does the future hold and what sort of opponent will you be looking at next? I mean, there's all sorts of names flying around online. Dillian Whyte was one of those that would drum up a lot of all-British interest.
Yeah, I think we need a big fight like that to get Daniel sort of not up for it, but to get him recognition, because I feel like he can beat Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte might fancy it after that, you know, the knockdown as well. He might think he's got a puncher's chance. So excited, you know, but obviously we have to go and rehab the knee, see the extent of the damage, and then we'll sort of understand the time frame when we can get it out. But hopefully March, April sort of time. Maybe it gets pushed back to May, but he needs to have an active 2023.
We wish him all the best with his recovery. Let me come to you, Gary. I mean, let's shift our focus to the main event. Now, Shane was vindicated for letting Daniel Dubois continue. The main event had a very different sort of feel. As we feared, the fight was a very good performance from Tyson Fury, very solid. He entertained a packed-out stadium, but it was difficult to watch at times for Derek Chisora and Don Charles and the corner. And to some extent, the referee, Victor Lachlan, have come under a little bit of scrutiny for their decision-making. What was your take on it all?
When is it we had this discussion earlier, when is it too early, when is it too late? You know, it's Don knows Derek better than any of us do. He knows what he's able to recover from. I personally would have liked to have seen Derek out there a couple of rounds earlier, but that's not my call. You know, it's not my call. He's not my fighter. I don't know him as well as he knows himself, or as well as a coach should know him. And Don knows what Derek's able to take, the amount of punishment he's able to take. And we've seen it before in fights like Carlos Takam. And I think that's the thing that kind of hurt Derek, is the fact that he has come back from a beating like Takam was giving him. They're thinking, well, at least he's got a puncher's chance. And unfortunately, against the world's best heavyweight, he didn't have a chance.
What about the future now for Tyson Fury? It's the $1 million question. I'm sure the question actually is worth a lot more, many millions than that. But will we now have an undisputed heavyweight championship fight between Oleksandr Usyk, who jumped up on the ring afterwards, and Tyson Fury in 2023? Shane, that's the question to you.
I think so. I think, you know, Tyson Fury might have learnt his lesson from not getting the undisputed fight with AJ at the right time. You know, that fight will never present itself again, in my opinion. So the next best thing is Usyk, the guy that's beat AJ. And I think he's learnt his lesson. I think he needs to go out there and make the fight. He said he wants to box 3 times next year. He'll have to box in February, March, so they should try and get it done first.
So if it's not Usyk, is it Joe Joyce, who also got in that sort of Royal Rumble scrum? I mean, everybody was in there, weren't they? The Royal Rumble scrum almost. It was good to watch.
SummerSlam at the Tottenham Stadium, that's what it was. Yeah, it will be Joe Joyce. I think it would be Joe Joyce. He said he wants to fight. Joe Joyce is as a formidable a challenger as there is out there, other than Usyk. Yeah, let's get it on. Joe totally deserves it. His body of work over the last couple of years has been exemplary. He's not only beat who he's supposed to beat, he's flattened them. So yeah, it makes a good fight.
Right, well, everyone's got their fingers and toes crossed that we get that fight for someone to box for the undisputed in 2023. What a year it's been for you and the McGuigan gym, though, Shane. I mean, Adam Azim is just one of any name I could have picked from that gym, but we've enjoyed that journey so far on Sky Sports alongside Boxer. Deep down, were you expecting him to make such a big impact so quickly? I'm sure that you would have thought in the long game he would have made that sort of transition as a pro, but so quickly?
Yeah, but I mean, if anyone's been banging the drum, it's been me. I've been telling everybody how good this kid is, and he's backed it up. I said, you know, when he comes to me, he only had 1 fight. He didn't stop his first opponent, and I said, the next 10 fights have to be knockouts, and devastating ones at that. And I think, you know, we're 5 or 6 in now, and the kid's such a talent. 2023, it's a case of how quickly we can push him up, but also building him as a star. This was scary, wasn't it, Gary, at the weekend, just gone against Ryland Charlton.
Yeah. You know what I love about him is that he's like a really good footballer. He sees 3 pictures. He sees 3 pictures. And look at the way he slips outside the jab and rolls the right hand over. You don't see many guys doing it. They slip. Everything goes outside the jab, and then they roll the right hand. He took his head inside whilst rolling his right hand over the top. And that's high-level tech, and that's high-level belief in your ability. And at the start, I was like, oh, you know what, guys, let's just slow this.
Let's just calm down.
As he trained down a bit. But you know
this hype train, let's just calm it down.
But who am I to pop at a guy that's trained world champions, countless world champions now? And if Shane believes in it, then I'm getting on the Azim train as well. I just love the kid. I love his head movement. I still want to see what happens when someone hits him on the whiskers, as we all do. You know?
I'm yet to see it. I mean, he's sparring middleweights, he's sparring super middleweights, and guys, a few have bounced shots off his chin with 16s on. It'll be different with 8-ounce gloves on, but they've also got to get close enough to land that shot.
Yeah. I should just pay lip service to Chris Billum-Smith against Arman Jojaj. That's next week in Bournemouth. Chris is 1 fight from a world title now, and these are the ones where it gets a little bit nervy because the one that matters is the next one, but you don't get to the next one if you don't get past Jojaj next weekend.
Exactly, and you know, like, if anything from last weekend with Kevin Lerena versus Daniel Dubois taught us, you know, you can't take your eye off the ball. You know, he's going to be fighting. Hopefully, he gets through this one next Saturday, and he's going to either be boxing for the IBF or the WBA world title, and that's going to be huge for us. It's, you know, taking Chris from when he was an amateur straight into the professional ranks. He's done British, Commonwealth, and European.
Old-fashioned way.
He's done it the right way.
Done it the right way.
He's also gone from untelevised small hall shows the whole way through. He's headlining on Sky for the 2nd time. He's going to be headlining for the 3rd time, fighting for a world title.
Yeah.
Amazing achievement.
We're looking forward to it. Caroline Dubois on the undercard of that one as well. We're really looking forward to seeing Caroline back. Before I let you go, announced last week, Chris Eubank Jr. meets Liam Smith, January 21st, AO Arena, Manchester, live on Sky Sports Box Office. I mean, you've trained a fighter in George Groves. I mean, I didn't want to say to beat him, but he's a quality fighter, Chris Eubank Jr. Set this fight up for us. I mean, everyone keeps telling me it's going to be a great fight. They can't all be wrong, can they?
Listen, George was a good counter-puncher. He's a good boxer. He had a great jab. He had great range. He had good feet. Liam Smith wins fights on toughness, desire, fighting short. That's Chris Eubank's. Like that's his turf. He loves that. He loves fights in close. He loves guys walking to him.
He hasn't done lately though, has he?
This is another counter argument.
You're touching at the Liam Williams performance, perhaps.
Yeah, and the ones before it.
Yeah, but he still controlled those fights. I think if he's not in control of the fight, I think the old Chris Eubank Jr. will come out. Okay. He can't do it against George Groves or Billy Joe, guys that are good movers. I mean, George had the power to keep him off. Billy Joe had the movement to keep him off. DeGale was shot-born. He didn't have it at that stage.
Definitely.
But Liam Smith's a completely different fighter. He's a guy that's going to stand right in front of you and try and beat you with toughness and pace.
But Smith's a bit more similar to Liam Williams, wouldn't you think? And he was still doing that whole getting around the ring, skirting around the ring, trying to do the Roy Jones, popping off at long range, which is not the Eubank Jr. that I've come to love. I liked when he's there in the middle of the ring, letting his hands go. The last 6 rounds against Billy Joe were just as exciting a rounds as we've seen from him, you know? And that's the only thing I would say is that at top level, he has been found out. You know?
And Liam's been there at the top level.
Yeah.
You know, he is a very good fighter. But I just think size doesn't play in his factor here. It doesn't play to his advantage. I think it's a Eubank win for me.
In one word, Eubank win for you. Do you agree with
for me as well? But impressive. I'd like to see an impressive Eubank Jr. win. I wasn't impressed by Liam Williams. I haven't been impressed by him over the last 2 years, if I'm being honest. I haven't been impressed. So other than when he won the WBC, was it the WBO? When he beat the Turkish fella, Yildirim. Yeah,
Avni Yildirim.
Yeah, I haven't been impressed by him. So I'm hoping that the old Eubank Jr. comes back.
Right, well, that's all the fuel that Liam Smith will want. Well done, you two. Thank you very much for coming down.
Liam's a great fighter, by the way.
Shane, thank you very much for coming down. We'll see you in Bournemouth next week.
Thanks.
And Gary, thanks again to you as well. That is it for this week's section here on This is everything for this week. So make sure you join the Toe to Toe podcast later on. It's a good show, trust me. Remember, Eubank Jr. versus Smith is coming in January, an all-British battle. You won't want to miss it. Over to you, Big Mo.
It's about time we had a British brawl like this. As 2 top contenders in the division on a collision course to the title come head to head. The son of a legend who has forged his own path. At times, he's the villain.
The bad guy is bad.
At times, he's been the hero, but he's always been the fighter.
Eubank Jr. is turning in quite a performance.
He's looking to rule supreme. Here is the former British IBO and WBA champion, Chris Eubank Jr. Liverpool, can you hear me? Coming from a famous fighting family, he's known by his countrymen as Beefy.
Liam Smith, pinpoint accuracy.
The former British Commonwealth and WBO World Champion, here is Liam Smith! And it all goes down at the AO Arena in Manchester on January 21st, live on Sky Sports Box Office.